What's going on YouTube? JT Reborn here, and welcome back to another edition of my DC comic book reviews. And in this video, we're going to be talking about Night Terror's Catwoman issue number 2. This one is written by Teenie Howard, of course, with the art done by Layla Leitz. I think that's how you pronounce the name. If I mispronounce it, I do apologize. But this one takes place after the previous issue, so Selina's in her own little nightmare. This one is not so much really tied into the overall Night Terror storyline. Yes, she's caught up in a nightmare like a lot of these villains are, but it's more so intrinsically tied to the ongoing Catwoman run and setting the stage for the upcoming Gotham War event, which I believe starts next month. That's right after this long, huge Night Terrors event, we're going to get another Gotham-focused event with the Bat family at war with each other and Batman against Catwoman. And in all honesty, I'm actually okay with Batman and Catwoman kind of in some sort of conflict. I think I've made it clear in several other videos on this channel how DC kind of just made me, with the Batman and Catwoman wedding and that whole, run written by Tom King, just made me just kind of dislike them as a couple, to the point where I'm like, yeah, let them fight. Yeah, let's let them fight. I mean, they could be allies, but I honestly want to see them fight again or be into conflict for some reason. Not really as a couple or anything. You burn the bridge that way, you set something up, you threw that out the window, and I'm like, you know what? No, I'm done with these two. So if you can get that kind of story across in an interesting and unique way, then I'd be all for it. But I am a little bit do we really need another event this soon? But after doing Night Terrors, it's gonna, where it's 5-6 issues every single week, that's gonna feel like a nice little reprieve where it's maybe 2 a week. But it is what it is. But anyways, so Selina's in her nightmare. She takes on Bruce Wayne, if you will, to kind of train him in her kind of way to deal with crime, I guess. In Gotham, you have the Joker here. An interesting style for the Joker. I'm not sure if I'm a huge fan of it. Selina looks good in this style. Joker just looks kind of bizarre. I feel like he's kind of a little bit mimish. He needs a little bit red lipstick to really kind of stand out a little bit, and the curly hair is a little bit off-putting. But it's her sister Zero, or Sister Maggie, if you will, who's a nun, but she's also a vigilante at the same time, which a nun vigilante does sound pretty cool. I'll give it that. And then, of course, in her nightmare, there's all these snakes and people getting poisoned, and then Joker's involved. The issue itself kind of deals more of her anxieties and insecurities about Gotham as a whole, and her means to kind of, I guess, what the event will be dealing with is her trying to control it. There's these other villainous snake people that kind of show up and they get into a fight. And end of the issue, if you will, Selina does kind of slowly kind of die within the dream before she kind of wakes up. I guess this is how she sleeps. She like I said, Selina kind of always looks good no matter where she's at. She even looks good when she kind of sleeps in that. She's got her cat and all that. And there's kind of a foreboding presence, if you will, that sets the stage for the end. It kind of leaves you a little bit unnerved, ooh, I feel like something bad's about to happen. And yes, the Love and War Gotham War is about to take place next. But yeah, so in terms of a Night Terror storyline, this one this has really no real connection to Insomnia, other than she was hit by the nightmare wave, dealing with her fears and insecurities, which dreams can change you. They can, depending on the nightmare, it can leave you a little bit off-putting for the next day or so. I mean, as I'm recording this thing, I had a weird, crazy-ass dream myself last night, and I'm still kind of feeling the effects of it. So it'll take a little bit of time to kind of get over that. Depends on how dark or traumatic the dream really is. And this one in particular is one that's going to set the stage for, or kind of push her in that direction of conflict with Batman, and it should be done in hopefully an interesting and unique enough way to where it's an exciting story, but only time will tell. So in terms of Insomnia and all that in here, looking for the Nightmare Stone, now we know where the Nightmare Stone was. It was in this place called the Hollow, which is between the world of the dreams and awake world, if you will. So whatever that is. So the whole Insomnia looking into other people's dreams didn't really go very far in terms of that story, now that we know where the Nightmare Stone is. So, but all things considered, do we really need this thing titled Night Terrors? Nah, you didn't really. You could have just called this the main Catwoman book, but they called it Night Terrors as a means to kind of hook people into the event, and suckers such as myself, when you could have just titled this Catwoman issue whatever, and I think we would have been fine. But like I said, if you're covering Night Terrors, I guess in a way, me talking about this helps get me set, if you will, for the next upcoming event. But even then, I didn't really think it was necessary to title this thing Night Terrors. It could, but hey, it is what it is, I suppose. So yeah, don't think it's a necessary book to read for Night Terrors, but if you kind of want a little bit of background and context that kind of helps set the stage for the upcoming Gotham War, then I suppose you can't do wrong with this particular issue. I mean, as its whole, like, it's not a bad issue. I mean, there's some interesting stuff at play here. There's some nice looking artwork for the most part, and I really like this cover art here too. Like, this is a good Batman and Catwoman cover thing. But I am, like, legitimately, like, I'm actually okay with Batman and Catwoman being into some sort of conflicts. Like, I've kind of had it with those two as a couple, the way DC kind of wrote them. So I'm looking forward to them just kind of fighting and being in, like, an interesting fight, if you will. So, like, I'm okay with that. Like, this is one of the few times where I'm just like, yeah, let them fight. And I've had enough of this kumbaya, like holding hands or like bat, cat, will they, won't they sort of thing. Like, no, let them fight right now. I'm at the point where, like, you know, let's get this conflict out of the way, and then maybe down the road they can reconcile and be closer allies. But I don't know if I really want to see them as a couple anymore. Like, give me someone different. So yeah. All right, well, I've rambled on long enough. So like I said, as a Night Terrors thing, it doesn't really do much to further that narrative. It's more so narrative, pushing the narrative forward with the main Catwoman book. And is it really all that necessary? You probably could skip it, all things considered, and just jump right into the Gotham War event, and I don't think you'd miss all that much. But if you want to see more of Selena Kyle's fears and insecurities, and you want to see a nun fight, then you got this issue. So I'm kind of like mixed to positive on it. Didn't really love it, but I don't think it's bad or by any stretch of means. That's the thing with these Night Terrors things. There's nothing that's quite bad. It's just there's so many issues within this whole Night Terrors checklist that it's just too overwhelming. I'm running on fumes just covering these things, but we're almost there. We're very, very close to the end of it. I got this week, got next week, and then the following week, and then it's all done. So there you go. All right, well, I think I've talked long enough. I'm sure I've repeated myself multiple times. Post your comments down below to let me know what you thought of Night Terrors Catwoman issue number 2. Did you like this issue? Did you dislike it? Do you think it really delivered? Do you think it was all that necessary to title this thing Night Terrors when you could have just skipped it and gone into the next, like, Catwoman event? Let me know in the comment section down below, and be sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel for more content. I'll be back later on today with more Night Terror stuff. We got Nightwing, we got Punchline, we got Superman, we got Titans, we got Tales of Titans, and I got Batman and Superman World's Finest. I think I may have listed them all, or I could have missed something. I don't know off the top of my head, but just know this, there will be more Night Terrors videos coming today along with other DC comic book related stuff. So look forward to all that. All right, well, that's all I got to say. As always, take care now. Bye-bye then, and I will see you all in the next video. Peace.